Hey there, I'm Jess from Make and Do Crew, and in this video we're going to learn how to work the half double crochet stitch. And then once we've got that down, I'll show you how to turn your practice swatches into a pair of cozy crochet slippers. For this tutorial, we're going to be using a chunky yarn that is a category 6 and a size L crochet hook. This hook is slightly smaller than you might normally use with this yarn, but we're using it today to make sure our stitches are fairly tight and our slippers are warm and toasty. In addition, there's a few optional supplies that you'll need to turn your swatch into a slipper. To get started, I'm beginning with a chain of 23 stitches, and I've left a long tail on my slip knot so that I can use it for seaming my slipper later. To half double crochet, I'm going to skip my first chain and work into the second chain from the hook. And in this example, we're going to be working into the back bump of our chain, which looks almost like a spine running down the chain. So to begin, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook under that back bump, yarn over, pull up a loop. So now I have 3 loops on my hook. Now I'm going to yarn over once more and pull my yarn through all 3 loops. So that's a half double crochet stitch. Let's try it again. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook under that back bump of the chain, yarn over again. 3 loops are on my hook now. I'm going to yarn over and pull my yarn through all 3 loops. So you can see it's just a little taller than a regular single crochet stitch. Let's try it once more. I'm yarning over, inserting my hook in that back bump of the chain, yarning over again. And once I have 3 loops on my hook, I'm going to yarn over and pull that yarn through all 3 loops. So now let's continue like this in our remaining chains. At the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. With half double crochet, there are a few places you can insert your hook to work the stitch. The typical option is to yarn over and insert your hook under both bars at the top of the row. So that's that little V shape right here. And you would work it just like this, yarn over and pull up through all 3 loops. Another option, and the one we're going to be using today, is to half double crochet through the back bar only. So to do that, we're going to yarn over and insert our hook through only this strand of yarn that's furthest away from us. And this is the case whether the work is facing this way or when we turn it the other way. It's always the one that's farthest away from you. So I'll yarn over, insert my hook under only the back loop, pull up my yarn, yarn over, and pull through all 3. I can continue like that, working through only the back loop to create a nice ribbed texture for our slippers. And that's actually all there is to working the half double crochet stitch. Now let's move on to some slipper making details. I'm working my stitches a little tighter than usual to make sure my slippers have some good structure. Once you're a few rows in, you can measure to make sure your swatch is about 9.5 inches across. That'll make a good rectangle for an adult-sized slipper. Once you're sure your rectangle width is on target, you can continue crocheting like this until your swatch measures the length of your foot. You might be tempted to make it a little longer, but I found that doing so can create slippers that feel a little too loose. Once my rectangle is done, I'm going to fasten off my yarn, again leaving a long tail for seaming. This will be a right-footed slipper, so I'm going to put a stitch marker in the 8th stitch from the left edge. Now I'm threading my tapestry needle with the leftover yarn tail, and I'm going to whip stitch in each single crochet, including the marked stitch. And once that's done, I pull the stitches tight to close up the toe opening. And it's okay if you need to adjust them slightly to get that toe as tight as possible. And now I'm going to work back through the first place where I whip stitch right here to create a nice closed toe. When that's done, I'm going to fold my rectangle in thirds and seam the overhanging flap down to the slipper. Again, I'm using the whip stitch, and this can be a good time to try on your slipper and make sure you like how tight or loose it's fitting. You'll whip stitch up about 3 to 4 bars of ribbing and then weave in your end and fasten off your yarn. Next, I'm going to seam the back of the slipper using my other leftover yarn tail. For this, I'm zigzag stitching down the back of the slipper, lining up the stitches as I go. I'll weave in this end and then fasten off the yarn, and then we're ready to add the leather soles. I've already cut out a sole shape, one for the front and one for the back of the slipper. and I've punched holes around the edge using a leather punch. Once I've pinned the soles in place where I'd like them, I'm going to use a scrap of worsted weight yarn that matches the color of my leather to whip stitch the soles to my slipper. You'll repeat the same process to make a second slipper, except for your left foot you'll whip stitch the toe from the opposite side and fold the rectangle toward the left. And that's all there is to making your own half double crochet slippers from a rectangle. Thank you so much for watching, and happy crocheting!